like, wait a minute. I think it's like nap time. We timed this with nap time with Vanessa's daughter.
Oh, Emmanuel. How old is her daughter? Her son is older, so she has an older son, younger daughter. Her daughter's, I think she's like 2.
Emmanuel Martin is in here. She's like one of those GGMB people.
Oh, hello.
Little scary.
Hi.
It's okay.
Hi, Patrick. Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Do you have Topo Chico? Hi, Desiree. Did you drink all your Topo Chico?
I have some Topo Chico left. I think Emmanuel's friends with Ricky. You like Ricky?
Who's Ricky? I don't know any Are these gymnastics people?
These are gymnastics people.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Hi, Emmanuel.
I always get nervous when I message Vanessa. It doesn't say that she's green, but she...
Green on what?
On Facebook, but I know that she checked like logging in this morning, so...
She'll still be good. I feel like she's on top of it.
Yeah.
I feel like we usually have... Karen was on top of it. That was good.
She was. Oh.
Should we play some of her gymnastics?
Yeah, we can play some of her.
As we wait.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, we were getting up some clips. Also, I don't know if anyone else, it just got warm here, and I don't know about you, but it feels like it's 1,000 degrees, even though it's probably not that hot out, but it's just been so cold for so long.
I was shocked because didn't you guys have a snowstorm like a couple days ago?
A week ago.
Yeah.
Seen her throughout this competition.
Oh my gosh.
Bronze medalist in the all-around.
She's so little. Was she with who was her coaches here?
Oh, the Rybackis were her coaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do look like you're in your male gymnast uniform.
But I only want to do the women's event.
It's okay, tell me, what would this be in skating? What did she just do in skating?
Sounds like a triple sow, triple.
Okay.
Loop, yeah.
Triple loop.
This is an event where the athletes
have a
girl.
chance
to show their personalities, all kinds of different choreography.
Ooh, was that like a flip, triple flip?
Yeah. This is 95.
She doesn't slow down for a minute.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Michael Shenley. I feel like a lot of skaters skated today.
Very spunky.
What place did she get here, Dave?
I think she was, does anyone remember? I think she was third on? Carrie Struck was at this event. With a bad haircut.
Let's see if she takes a little rest here before her.
This was the Olympic Festival.
She's got to be getting tired.
It's Julianne McNamara with that kind of like smoker voice commentating.
Punch front.
Vanessa Atler.
A very nice performance.
Oh, I have USA versus the world.
Quite there as the other athletes we've seen, but still she'd be starting from a 10.0.
Oh, I think Vanessa's here.
Oh, hello.
So Vanessa, just hit join stage underneath the where you see our pictures, and then I will let you on.
Oh, what year was this?
This is 96. This was on Fox
Okay, so the
after
next
the
year.
Olympics.
So she's 14.
I have this weird memory that this was on before the first night of, like, before the first day of school, and I remember I wanted to stay up and watch. Like, I thought it was.
Did Debbie let you?
Like, I mean, was the Magnificent Seven going to win again? Like, I didn't know. I was 10. I didn't realize it was the whole point. So, hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
can you hear you?
Oh my gosh, I was so worried.
Welcome to the skating lesson. We're so excited to meet you or to have
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I have my son's video game headset on right now.
Okay, so we needed an update on your life. How old are your kids? Tell us the whole what's going on.
Okay. Well, let's see. I have a 2-year-old named River, my daughter, and I have a son who is 6 years old. His name's Darwin.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm married and to my husband, and he's at work right now. He works at Audi at a car dealership, so he just started back at work again. So we're sad though because we had a good time like with him hanging out with us for a while, but you know, time to get back to work. So
okay. Now, how did you meet your husband?
Yeah.
Actually, I met him. I used to coach gymnastics in Valencia, where I am right now. Let's see, this was about 10 years ago, and he walked in to get a coaching job. He's actually 5 years younger than me. And he came in, and I just like sent him to do like recreational gymnastics. And then later I needed somebody to help with like spotting for our gymnastics team and stuff. So that's kind of like how we got to know each other. We went to gymnastics Congress together, and just kind of it grew from there and stuff. He used to be a gymnast when he was younger. And it was funny because he didn't really know who I was at all until we did go to Congress and people were recognizing me. And he was like, oh my gosh, I remember who you were. And I used to have a crush on you when I was young and watch you on TV and everything. So yeah, so it's kind of cool that he knows, about gymnastics in my past. And
so now you have a clothing line now. I saw. Are you still coaching? Tell us about that.
I'm not. I stopped coaching in October to move closer to my family. So I used to coach in Bakersfield at American Kids Sports Center. I had a wonderful time. It was a great job. My son started school, kindergarten, and I just was like, you know what? I don't want to miss out. Coaching, you have all evening hours. And so if they start going to school and then I work in the evenings, I just never get to see him. So my mom said, why don't you move back here and we can help you, and, and just be kind of like a stay-at-home mom for a while. So, so that's what I did. So I stopped coaching in October. I've done a little bit of online. I used to do like eBay selling and things like that, because that's what my mom did. And then I kind of would, hey, you know what? I want to kind of start right now it's a print on demand. So basically like I don't have any inventory, but I design everything and kind of create it like that. And right now we're working on getting real inventory for leotards and going that whole route. So that's a long process, but it's fun. And it's kind of like trying to make an empowering, trying to build gymnastics up. It's gone through some hard times, and I know everybody that's had a hard time with it, the actual sport itself, we all still love, and there's a lot of things that need to be fixed in it. But, I want to keep that love alive, and for everyone to remember that gymnastics, we still love, and we still love it. Things need to change, but we can still be in love with the sport itself.
Do you do any online writing or thought about it? Because I was thinking about this earlier. Jenny and I were talking.
We loved your diary entries. 56K
for your diary entries to load on this like blue background with like butterflies going across.
Oh, Vanessa, like I was a young skater when and I felt like I knew you. Like, I feel like you're my friend. I feel like I knew everything. You were so good at just explaining everything you were going through and your feelings. Do you do any writing now?
I don't, and I go through phases where I like to put stuff out there every once in a while, but like to have like a blog and stuff, it just takes so much time and so much work. And really, I don't have a lot of things to say, only every once in a while. And I feel like to keep up a successful blog, you really have to be, I'm not a writer. I just like to say my feelings sometimes. And when I was going through those moments, there was always so much to say. Everything was happening. I don't have much to say now, but so I just kind of put stuff out there on Facebook sometimes, but to have a blog is it's difficult. And really, when I was younger too, even though I enjoyed the process and I really loved it, it was difficult for me too, because it was time consuming and I didn't always want to say everything I felt. But then when I would start writing, I would. And a lot of times I would regret it because I wasn't sure if I wanted everyone to know the struggles I was going through. Once I went out there and started competing, I realized everybody kind of knew how I felt. And then, so it was hard to hide my feelings, and sometimes you're going through hard stuff. You kind of want to, when you're competing, you want to kind of be in the zone and make everyone feel like, you're in control. But I knew that I had just told everybody, I'm not in control and I'm worried about this and stuff. So it was a great experience to connect with people. That's what I loved about it. And it was me, it was all of my real feelings. So I'm grateful for that I had that opportunity, but it was hard sometimes.
Did your coaches or your agent or your parents, did anybody ever say you can't do this? Because I just think of athletes today and skaters, they seem so censored, and you were so real and authentic, and you really connected, like you said, with your fans and with other athletes. So did anybody ever say you shouldn't write about this?
No, everybody was really encouraging, I think because it was just so new. And I never said anything bad about anybody. I think it was just more my own feelings. Maybe inside, maybe some of my coaches might have wanted me to be tougher, but they knew everything that I was saying was honest because I always told them how I felt and stuff. So I think they thought it was sort of like a therapy for me. I don't think they ever looked at it as anything negative.
So I had a question. I've always thought about this, is that I feel like, especially with you, because you were so honest, the media then knew that you struggled on the uneven bars. So then they would focus on it. But then obviously that makes the problem even bigger. It's kind of like when Sasha Cohen couldn't do a clean long program and the media would focus on it every time.
Question, it's
like every time Sasha would do a long, you're like, okay, is she gonna do a clean one today?
Right.
Like, do you feel like it made it worse in a way?
Yes.
Okay.
I do, but it also made it's this weird catch-22. It made it. I was much more nervous when I would go onto to bars. I knew the media was talking about it. They would ask me, they would ask me questions about it before I would go up and stuff. But the best part about it, even though it was just horrible, and it's easy to say now, is I felt everyone's support. So even though I knew everyone knew what I was going through, when people were saying before I would go up on the bars, I could hear everybody saying, come on, Vanessa, you can do it. I knew it wasn't just like, come on, you can do it. It was like, we know you're struggling with this and we believe in you, and sometimes it made it worse because I didn't want to disappoint everybody, but it felt so good. It's one of the things that I missed the most when I was competing, was that feeling of everyone just behind you and, being a fan of your success or just wanting to have those emotions with you. I felt everybody was having the same emotions as I was going, and that felt good.
And do you think that stemmed from the diary, and then from NBC would do a lot of pieces on you? I guess it kind of happened organically, because Emmanuel was saying that we all loved you so much, and it's true.
Like, we all feel like we know you.
When you didn't make the Olympics, I had a very strong reaction, like crying.
So did
I didn't realize that I was so emotionally invested to this.
Yeah.
And my parents will still make fun of this to this day.
Yeah, I think, yes, I don't think it all stemmed from the diary, but it was the media and the diary, and that's their job, is to create a story. It's why I love sports, because I love those cheesy stories, or just like, I want to know how the person's feeling before they go up. That's what gives you that connection. It makes everything more exciting. And I knew that. It wasn't like I was mad at the media for doing it, but it just, it created something. It created a story. And when they had announced I hadn't made the Olympics, I felt everyone else's disappointment as well, and that's what sometimes made it a lot worse, and then when I went on that Starting Over show, a reality show, it put it a little bit more in perspective. That wasn't the entire world that was devastated for me, but there were fans that were sad for me, and it was sad because I felt like I had let them down, because it wasn't just the media that wasn't why I didn't make it. There was a lot of things that I had done and things that just made it all come crashing down. And I always, as a perfectionist or a gymnast, you always kind of look back and go, how did I create this, and how did I make this happen, and feel guilt about it. And then when people say, oh, they were so devastated by it, it was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I ruined it for you.
People are having so many responses, even as you're talking. They want you to know that they weren't disappointed in you. They were feeling with you. So
but it's
and I feel that now.
Yeah, I would imagine with that, like you said, there's this need to want to make it better for them. Like, I'll deal with myself. I'll be okay. I know I can handle the disappointment, but it's almost you carry their disappointment more than I would imagine even your own.
Yes, my when I used to go to therapy, she'd be like, geez, Vanessa, how many people do you see in the mirror when you look at the mirror? It's like thousands of people. That's what I see. It's true. It's just everyone on your shoulder, and you feel that. And it's sad, because even like when I was in trials, I felt all those people just rooting for me, and then the good part is you didn't feel alone. I mean, I never felt really alone. I always felt like everybody was rooting for me. So I didn't feel like people were hoping I wasn't going to make it or anything. I always felt people were supportive before, during, and after. So.
All right, well, we have a lot of videos we want to show you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the 95 Olympic Festival. I don't know if this was before or after Nationals, but
I think this is before.
So how old are you here, Vanessa?
Oh my 13? God. Let's see. 13? Does that sound right? 14? I think this was my first televised competition. Yeah.
Do you remember, because the media loved you so much, did you feel that the first time you were in front of the camera, did you feel that sense of excitement, or was it more of a get away from me?
Oh, it was all excitement. I was just, because, you know, when you're first coming up, you don't know how good you are yet until you start, you know, this is like my first couple of years of doing elite. So I didn't know where I stood or where I was at. And then all of a sudden you start gaining attention. You go, oh, wow, people like me, you know, people like, this is fun and exciting. So it was all exciting. It was just, I feel like I can feel the feeling I had when I was on the beam. It was just this super excited, like people are watching me. That's all I wanted. I always wanted people watching me. It's like my kids are like that too. It's sad.
So your coach didn't change the order of your skills a lot. So do you still?
No.
I remember starting over, you did your routine and it was like still the same one that you did for
Yes, it's the same routine. Yeah, I mean, Beth would beam, I basically had the same exact routine, and only little tiny parts she would change here and there and stuff. But for the most part, everything stayed the same. And same thing with my floor routines. It's like I would keep it for a long time, and then she would just little tiny things you would see change here and there and stuff. But I like Mr. Chan's cute routine.
Do you think they should bring crushed velvet? Do you think it needs to have a moment again?
It needs to come back, I think.
I do too. The scrunchies come back.
Yes.
Now we need the crushed velvet.
I liked velvet, but whatever. And I liked sometimes when the leotards were more simple.
Yeah, now it's too much caca everywhere.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I like it, but yeah.
When you first started, was bars always something that gave you more of a challenge than the others?
When I was first learning giants, I found out one day that I was going to be taught giants, and I locked myself in the bathroom at my gym. And actually, that was at AB Twisters in Palmdale when I met Jamie, and Jamie Dancher, and we worked out together, and she actually, like a good friend, helped me out of the bathroom. So I always had fear of slipping off. That was my big thing. I just always thought I was going to slip off. I couldn't grip well. I just was scared of that. And it kind of carried along. I think around this time when I first started elite, I thought I was getting better at it, and I felt like a little bit more confident. I didn't fall much until that one the first nationals, 97. Because I think in 96 when I was a junior, I didn't fall. So I didn't think it was a problem yet. I just didn't really love it.
So you were always so fast when you were running. Like, how much of that is conditioning and how much of that is natural? And
a little bit of both. I think Steve was always really good with teaching a correct run and running on her toes and with the chest up and stuff. But I think I just always was naturally quick twitch, quick reflexes and stuff.
You did have a ridiculous run. Like, it was...
Yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, I love that vault. That was a good one.
Have you ever vaulted on the new horse?
No. Okay. No, I never got to vault on the new horse, and I'm so sad about that. But sometimes I just go, when you're so used to something, you look at it. I look at it now and go, I don't think I'd be able to do it as good, because I never. Everyone says like, oh, now they can run full force because there's no fear of missing their hands. Well, I was always running full force. I never was afraid of missing my hands. There was never a fear of that, and I loved blocking at the front of that little rounded edge right there. And now when you have that big old vault table, everyone hits on the top of it, and it just seems weird to me. So I don't know.
It's interesting that you didn't have a fear of your hand slipping on vault, but on bars, did something happen, or did you see someone fall?
No, I just always felt like I was going to, also the clear hip. I was really scared. I never had a clear hip to handstand ever. Like, I think level 5, there wasn't a clear hip. And I used to win all these competitions. And the level 6, there was a clear up to handstand and I couldn't ever do it. And I just was like, lost everything all the time. And nobody ever put a clear up in my routine because I couldn't do it because I was scared of, you have to fall down really fast on it. I was always just scared of peeling up. I don't have no idea. I never had a traumatic fall. I just always feels like I'm going to slip off.
And that feeling the whole time, I would imagine you're just anxious the entire.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people not all the time, but good tumblers and runners, they're just not, it's hard to relax, and you need to relax on bars. You need to have a flowy swing. It's kind of like a golf swing. You got to have a good tap. And you could always see my shoulders are bunched up. I'm always muscling the bar and trying to work through it. And I wasn't breathing on the bar. I was always holding my breath and stuff. So I like to grunt through things, and then around 30 seconds of grunting, I can do really good. But when you have to relax and breathe, or like anything that's like for a longer period of time, I'm just not good at it.
Relaxing.
Just why I was not good at giving birth. TMI, but I was not.
How long was the birthing process? Was it something where with both your kids, it took
no, well, the first one was super long. I don't know, it was like 29 hours, and then they had to do like the C-section because it was like an emergency, because I was holding my breath and I was trying, you're supposed to do like Lamaze classes, and I was like, I've been through broken bones and this is going to be easy. I'll just like grunt through the pain, and it's like completely different. You have to breathe and be calm, and that's just not good.
Did they have you, Vanessa, work with a sports psychologist on the bars, or was it something where just try to figure it out? No,
I think Steve Rybacki, my coach at the time, was just really big on trying to, I guess, make me feel like there wasn't a problem, and it was like in my head. And I think it just got too far, but I think, he just was like, you're good at bars. And stop making it feel like you're not. And she just needs to do more numbers and be more successful in the gym so she can show everybody. But I think it just got to the point where I fell down too many times in front of everybody, so it didn't matter.
I have a question about Beth and Steve, because I listened to the interview with Jamie that she did recently.
Yeah, me too.
And she had one perspective on them. And then Tabitha said that she had a different experience and was more positive about them. So I guess, was it like, did they change over time? Like, what is kind of your...
No, I think, talking with Jamie, and I think this is with a lot of athletes, is everybody has a different experience depending on what kind of athlete they are with their coach, because sometimes coaches connect better with certain types of kids. And Jamie was a different type of kid, and like Beth, I think, was a lot like me. So she understood me. She knew how to coach me, and Steve wanted an athlete that was like me, where I just kind of did what he said, I feel like, and we just got along. So they always treated me good. They always were super kind to me. I did not have a bad experience, but I do believe that Jamie did have a bad experience. I think I don't think they did it right with her, and it's unfortunate. And I feel for her but I think a lot of athletes that are like Jamie, it's harder to find a coach that is able to do that unless that coach used to be like them. It's somebody that needs to know why they need to do something, and they teach in parenting now. It's not now, but I mean, you're supposed to explain things. You're not supposed to just say because I said so. And that's always been the culture in gymnastics. And when this, I think, new breed of athlete comes in and wants to know why, it's unusual for them, and they don't know, these coaches don't know how to deal with it and stuff. So I definitely think that we had the same coaches, but two different experiences. And same thing with Tabitha. Tabitha had an experience like I did, but I'm sure there's other athletes that were at Charter Oak Gliders that had experiences like Jamie did.
When you were training with her, could you sense that dynamic? Was that something that you picked up on?
No, not at all. Well, and I think also, and I told Jamie this when we got back together again not too long ago, was like, I used to always look at her and go, why is she asking questions? Like, why can't she just, like, this is the way to survive. Just say yes. And like, why are you making it harder on yourself? And she's like, Vanessa, that's not who I was. And I was just a young kid. I didn't know, I just didn't understand certain things. And sometimes I was the type that I didn't understand something Steve or Beth would say, and I would just do what I thought they said instead of asking, can you explain it more? Because I was so afraid to ask why or how and stuff. So
sounds like they thought she was being disrespectful, and she just was asking a question to try to understand, or she didn't knew.
Correct. Exactly right. They were big on being respectful, and I don't think I've ever witnessed Jamie saying or asking questions in a disrespectful way. It's just that she wanted to know why or how, or sometimes question stuff like, I thought we were supposed to do this and not that. But I admire that type of person.
Me too. Yeah.
And it actually, in adult life, it makes you a lot stronger. And I feel like in some ways you have less issues, because sometimes when you have the personality like I do, or a lot of athletes do, you end up in a world where you go, how the heck did I get here? And you realize you got there because you just did what everybody else wanted you to do. And so it's hard when you're a kid, I think, to have that personality. But I think you're a lot stronger when you're older, and God knows she's been through a lot. And she's going to get through it because has such a strong personality.
So all of the dancers. I remember that there were 7 of them, and they all had the first name. They all started with J, and their middle name all started with A.
Yes. Yes, that was the thing. We knew that. It was JAD was all their initials, I believe. So
and they had an older sister who did gymnastics too. So
yes.
Are they
Jennifer.
all kind of feisty, or is Jamie unique? Like one?
I think they all have a little bit of that personality. They're all really strong women. And men. I mean, I don't know the brothers too much. I've known them when I was really young. And we I'd do like sleepovers at her house and stuff. But like, I know a lot of her sisters and her twin sisters and stuff. Her twin sisters, I'd say a little bit have less of that personality, but I don't know. I think they're all kind of, or like that.
I remember you wrote once that you thought that she was more talented than you.
She is. She is way more talented than I am.
You're both pretty talented.
Yeah.
Vanessa,
Well, I'm not saying I wasn't talented, but she definitely, I think it was weird because we just went through different, it's so funny because the phases that we went through were just complete opposites as we went up. When I started and I met her, she just was on fire, and it was because of her personality, though. She was just kind of took the bull by the horns and just kind of went. And then I think it changed when we went to gliders because Steve and Beth connected with me more, and she was kind of left behind. And she got as far as she did, I think, a lot on her own. And then you see when she went to college, I mean, she did all the skills that I did. She did the double layout punch front just as well as I did. Later, I think in college, she said she did the Yurchenko double and it was super easy for her. And, it was just a different coaching she needed, I think. But I remember when we were younger, she always could do way harder stuff than I could. I was always afraid and cautious of things. She didn't have a lot of fear.
What were your moms like, I guess, in the gym? Were they both intense? Your mom always seemed nervous on TV. So
And were they allowed to come watch you guys during?
Yeah, they were there. My mom was, I drove an hour to the gym. So my mom stayed there most of the time. Sometimes she'd go to a movie, but most of the time she would stay and watch. But she was pretty quiet. She didn't say much of anything. And she wasn't, to me, she wasn't like a crazy mom. She never said she'd, if I look back sometimes and I watch her when I was little and I would she would video me doing gymnastics and she'd be like, ooh, those knees are bent. And now I look at it and go, what? Why would you say that?
Yes.
But anyways, I think internally and with fans and on the outside, and I didn't know what was happening. I think she was very intense about my career and just got hyped up on the fame part, I think.
Mother invented the internet.
Yes. Yes. So, that part, I wish she hadn't have gotten so involved. And we've talked about it now. I mean, we're good. And she's apologized profusely a million times to me. So, I'm over it. And but Jamie, they carpooled with us for a while. I think that was another part that was hard, was our parents kind of got in a little tiff because I was the type of gymnast that had to be completely silenced and focused before I would go work out because I have like anxiety attacks. And when I would carpool with them, they have like a million kids, and we'd be in the car, and Jamie's used to like loud and craziness. And we've talked about this too before. She does better workouts, practices when there's a lot of noise and stuff. She needs that distraction. I need like complete focus. So I told my mom that like I didn't want to carpool anymore because I was like crying every day before workout. This is I'm completely like sensitive and a little bit crazy. Oh my God, there I am. Look at my nail polish.
I like your gold nails.
Oh boy. So our parents, I think her mom had a hard time when we didn't want to carpool and felt that it was something like we wanted to hinder her Jamie's gymnastics. But me and Jamie always got along. It was just that weird, dynamic there. But eventually I think they moved to San Dimas, which was closer to Charter Oak Gliders. And so her mom was not, I don't think, very involved with her gymnastics as far as like being there and watching her and stuff.
Do you remember them filming this? This was like your TV
Yes.
debut. Okay.
Yes. And my mom still lives in this house. It's so funny. I mean, we live like 5 minutes away from that house, and my parents still live there. So it's funny.
And in the same gym, with much less attention, Vanessa won the junior nationals.
I remember this meet. I was just freaking out because I was so excited to watch the senior competition because they were all my idols. I remember I was really upset because I had a big pimple on my chin too.
Would you watch the TV broadcast of yourself afterwards?
Oh yeah, I'm still like.
What are you spraying in your mouth?
They
There? Does
spray
that have
water
like chalk
at
in there?
Jamie's.
Like,
Like what? Because they.
That's like I literally would take that spray and like rub it against my grips because you put water on your grips and then chalk, and I'd spray that in my mouth. It's disgusting.
You'd have to go to the water fountain. It was like right there.
Well, you probably want to avoid going to the water fountain because it looks like you're taking a break.
Right.
So you stay on the bars and just drink out of there.
Did your brother play sports growing up, Vanessa?
Yeah, he played baseball. He was high school baseball. He was really good. He was just small, but he was always he's super athletic. He's always athletic in everything he did. But he did high school baseball.
would they have put him in gymnastics if he's small?
They did, and he hated it.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a lover of and probably because of my dad, but a lover of baseball since he was born. He would sleep with his glove, and he's just, and still to this day he plays, I think, with well, not right now, but he would play team co-ed baseball and all that stuff. He just loves it. So we always had like a separate, my dad would watch baseball with my brother, and my mom would be with me in gymnastics.
So what was it? Do you remember how you got chosen to be like a replacement member of the Magnificent Seven for this very important competition on?
I don't remember that much. I don't think I even knew what it was until I got there, and I didn't even know who was going to be there. It felt really awkward because nobody talked to me really. Wasn't this after the 96 Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were all famous and, best friends and stuff. And I was just like sitting in the corner like, and like maybe like I think after this they gave me like a little high five or something. But
so was it
I didn't know what I
planned
was
that
doing.
you were going to compete all along? Because like it's just like very.
I don't know. Maybe
You
not.
were
Maybe
trained. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't remember that far. I just remember going, don't screw up.
It sounds like they didn't tell you a lot beforehand. Was that normal in your career, Vanessa?
Yes.
The coaches.
I feel like it. Maybe I just was like drowning out stuff, but I always felt like I didn't know what was happening. I swear, you guys, to this day, like Worlds 99, I didn't even understand that prelims meant that I qualified for other like events. I thought it was just like, I had no idea. I just remember not knowing that, I have to do good in prelims to qualify for like event finals and all around and all of that stuff. I thought it was like qualifying for team or something. I was so dumb. I had no idea what was going on. And I didn't know about scoring, like what I needed to get a connection, or I just knew I had better connect it or I'm getting in trouble, basically.
Okay.
So
it sounds too, perhaps your coaches didn't tell you to kind of keep you ignorant in a sense so that you don't, I don't know. Kind of
I don't know what the strategy was. It might have been like they thought that it would help me not be nervous and not go, sometimes, oh my God, little girls in pretty boxes. Sometimes they might have thought that if I thought I could do a different trick, then maybe I would accidentally mess up. So I could, instead of just going, this is what I have to do and I'm going to do it, I don't know. But I think a lot of that always just came from how Beth was raised as a gymnast. It was just that type of sport where do what the coach tells you to do and you'll be liked if you do that. It's hard because I still love them because I think they brought me to where I was and they always were nice to me. So
So when did you film this? I mean, you have the distinct honor of being in a Lifetime movie, something all of us can only dream about.
Yeah.
It used to be like someone's lesbian daughter. Like, I mean,
it's funny as I think that the actress. Well, I don't remember when this was, but I just remember the actress, they didn't want to have her do it because she was expensive. So they wanted to see if I could do the part. And I had to read lines in front of the director and stuff. I did so bad. I think even Steve was like, but they're like, okay, never mind. I guess we'll hire this, actress or whatever. But I think they were trying to find a way out to get me to do the lead role or whatever. But that didn't work out. So yeah, I just it was not the funnest experience because I was such a nervous gymnast and they had lighting everywhere and I had to do that bar routine and they had I had to do my reverse hecht and there was this humongous shining bright light on the top of the bars and I was blinded every time and Steve was mad at me because I was having problems with it and I think he was embarrassed because it was in front of all these movie people or whatever. But
how long did you train with Amy Walker for?
I don't think that long, maybe a year, a couple years or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think she was at our gym when she was here. Okay. When she was in this video, I don't think she was at our gym yet, but I remember when she did start training with us. She was great.
When you did the Reese's commercial, were you allowed to hear any Reese's? Emmanuel, you can actually adjust the volume on the video. If you go on the main screen at the top, you can adjust all of our volumes. So
did you get to eat?
What was the question?
Did you get to eat any of the Reese's?
Oh, I think I went through 3 of them, and then Steve had me start spitting them out in a bucket. I mean, I'm sure eventually I would have gotten sick of it anyway.
Did he go? It sounds like he was at most of the filming, and was that normal that he would?
So it's funny because I would listen to Jamie's interview, and she had said that they had made money off of me. And I don't know when that happened, but I'm wondering now sometimes on those moments, he was on the set for, I'm sure he did, or he wouldn't, totally want to be invested all the way in it. I'm sure he got money for that. Maybe the Reese's one too. Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, so I don't know. That part gets me oh.
I didn't know how true that was, or if that
I don't know
the perception of it.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so many kind of corrupt things that have happened where even that Reese's commercial, Hershey's called USA Gymnastics and said, we want Vanessa Atler to do this commercial. Can you put us in contact with her? And they said, don't use her, use one of these people. And they gave them a list of people that were not professional so they could have the money for it. And they said, no, thanks. Never mind. We'll find her ourselves or whatever. And they had told us about that. So, there's just weird stuff like that where that's why they don't like when you go professional. They, you're taking a lot of money.
I heard a crazy rumor about the old president of USA Gymnastics, who was Bob Colarossi, and they act today, because I guess he helped set up Safe Sport, that they act like he was one of the good guys, But I had always heard that he got a gymnast pregnant back in the day, like a rhythmic gymnast or something. Like the
I
sweet
don't
irony.
know. Wouldn't
Like, somebody
surprise
look
me.
into
I
it.
didn't hear that. I've never heard that, but
They were
I
all
hate
kind of
saying it,
shady.
but Bob Colarossi always reminded me of like a used car salesman, you know? He was just kind of a little, I don't know. They all, I mean, honestly, him and Steve Penny were always this egotistical, always about money, but I just like, there was never, they would, you know, push people aside if they don't care that they had anything to do with kids and stuff. And Bob was the same way. I think Bob was involved with trying to get Bella to coach me, and then ended up getting Bella to dump me later to do the whole team or something, or not that I wanted to be with Bella.
Before we get to this, because you brought it up, the sequence of events, Steve yells on TV and like loses his mind.
Yeah.
However, weren't they already trying to get Bella to coach you? Like
I heard that at that same meet that my mom I heard later that my mom told me this later, that my mom and my uncle and Bob Colarossi had a meeting that I should leave Steve and go with Bella. I had no idea.
They would love that for TV. That would have been perfect.
Right. I'm sure it was some sort of a money thing, you know. I had no idea until I went to my mom after that meet and said, I want to quit gymnastics. I don't want to do this anymore. I hate it, and I'm sad, and blah, blah, blah. My mom's like, well, you can't quit, but hey, maybe we should try Bella. Bob Colarossi was saying, you know, he would come out of retirement for you or whatever. So
what was your relationship like with Steve before this event?
Amazing.
So there was no like tension? You didn't know? It was a shock that you got?
No, that's, I think, why it was a shock to them, because Beth and Steve we've always had an amazing relationship, and it was just, that's like the type of person I am. I do hold a lot of feelings, and I'm sure there was some things that I didn't agree with him, probably a little bit mad that he did keep my Komanichi in, but I wanted to support him and believe in him, so I did. And then once he yelled at me, I think I kind of snapped and went like, F you, you know. I was just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And because I know what a good athlete or a student I was for them. And that's what made me so upset, was like, oh, I can't believe that he did this to me. We have such a good relationship, and he yelled at me and then stopped talking to me for like a day and a half. And I was just done. And I'm kind of that person, like, when I'm done, I'm done. Don't talk me out of it. I don't want to see him, you know, I'm done. I want to quit.
So was it just the fact that he yelled, or did he like lose his mind?
No, everyone talks about the yelling part, but like I was used to that. And it wasn't, honestly, people have had me go like, oh, you should watch it back on TV. I have. It's not, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just like a regular, like, you weren't being aggressive. You weren't, you know, like, he wasn't saying cursing or anything. It was more of that he didn't talk to me at all. He just ignored me. And I'm sure now looking back, he was upset with himself and all that stuff, but like there was no comforting for me. It was all just kind of like he was really mad at me, and I was just hurt because I was sad, and I needed someone to hug me and comfort me and say it's going to be okay and we'll work through this. But there was none of that. It was just like not talking to me, ignoring me, and then like you show up at workout the next day and everything's back to normal again, and I was already done.
Well, it sounds like he put his feelings above your feelings, and it was about him. And I would imagine for you, like you said, you're doing all of this. That's good for them, and then suddenly you need him to be there, and he's off.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part, and I think as a coach, it's difficult too. I mean, that's what makes good coaches, is ones that are able to separate their feelings and realize this is their sport, their gymnastics, and even though you are sacrificing a lot and it's your life, that if you are going to be a coach, you have to be okay with separating yourself from that and going, this is for them. And even though I'm disappointed and I'm upset and I'm mad, what is the right thing to do for them? Yeah. See, even right here, maybe he's just talking. I don't know. That's just me. I just feel like that's regular coaching. I mean, I've seen 10 times worse in Little League baseball or football, you know what I mean? It's just like not that bad to me.
It's not the yelling, it's the, like you said, it sounds like it was a sense afterward that he didn't want anything to do with you.
Yes. That's what I thought it was. And later when I had talked to him, it was more of he was upset with himself and was trying to figure out what to do. And he was just mad. And I get that. I just, I think he just made a poor decision that unfortunately caused me to leave, I think, you know.
So you had worked your entire life, you know, to get to this point, to go to Worlds, to go to the Olympics, and you have this happen. Had it been that the pressure was like building, so because you were having one of the meets of your life, really, at this point, like you were doing a really good job. So do you think it was like the roller coaster of it all, from like so high to so low, and then he's not talking? Like, what made you?
I just kind of was just, I don't know. I mean, it was always like, I never had a problem with beam, floor, and vault. So that just got better and better and better. I felt at my tip top, but every time I went to bars, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I just kind of wanted to look at him and go like, fix this, please. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I need help. And this whole thing that we're trying to do with like keeping it in and proving to everybody that's wrong is not working. And, you know, after a while, when you fail at something over and over again, it becomes an issue where you can't let go of it. And you have to kind of just remove that skill and let it go. And I think he might have had a hard time just letting people feel like they were right and he was wrong, you know.
You know, was like he was losing rather than seeing the strategy behind it. It's not that you're giving up or giving in. It's like, this is going to help you.
Yeah, because everybody has things they just can't get past. And I think he saw it as a challenge or a goal to get past it because I think he also thought maybe I would create a problem somewhere else and that it wasn't the Komanichi and that it was just me being nervous or whatever. But I don't know, you know, maybe try something different.
Is there something about the particular, so someone's asking if you did it in practice, and is there something about the Komanichi that like does not suit your body? You know, like did you have like a wider straddle or what is the?
I think partly it was just my fault. I mean, not my fault, but I mean, I'm the one that wanted to do it. Okay, so like I already didn't like bars that much. I barely could get that reverse hecht. You know, you see me, I dink it over the bar. It's not like a huge reverse hecht because I was always scared of release moves. Well, I saw this skill being done and told Steve I wanted to do it because it looked really easy because you just kind of like push away and flip. It's not scary because you don't go over the bar. But the scary part is you have to lean your shoulders over the bar a lot to be able to catch it. And you always are just wondering how much you're supposed to because you have to get that perfect amount to catch it. And if you lean over too much, you smash your face on the bar or hit your heels. And so I didn't want to do that on TV. So I would always push away too much. And I think the other issue was that I had it right after my reverse hecht. And my swing on my reverse hecht after catching it would be different every time. So that kip would give a different bounce to the bar every time. And so it just kind of was like a guessing game. And in practice, it was just as inconsistent. I mean, I only had one chance at a meet, you know, so yes, I caught it more in practice. But if you know, I would have days where I was, you know, we would have a morning workout and my assignment was to do 8 in a row bar routines. I would never do that. And finally, you know, he would just leave and go into his office and another coach would just lie for me and say that I did it. But like, I think the most I could do sometimes like on a good day would be 4 or 5 routines in a row. And that was on a really good day, you know? And so other days it was just one time catch it, one time not catch it, one time. I was always getting in trouble on bars because I just could not.
So did USA Gymnastics ever say, look, we're going to take you on the team for the other 3 events. Just stop worrying about bars.
Yeah, like you're so good.
Yeah.
No, USA Gymnastics never talked to me at all. You know what I mean? Like
You know that like, if you were a Russian gymnast, they would just like not have you practice.
Yes, I wish. I mean, I wish I didn't have to do it ever again. Yeah. I do sometimes think like, well, okay, let's see. If I would have taken that away, would I have just gone like, there has to be a problem somewhere else and create it somewhere else? You know, I don't know.
But I think so. I think you were. It sounds like it's a technical thing that you just didn't. The momentum and the timing was different every time. Yeah. And it doesn't sound.
I don't know. I don't know because I fell so many times on it that I had a lot of negative thoughts. So I don't know if those negative thoughts would have come without that skill or if it was just because I fell on it all the time. I don't know.
Well, the fact that your agent and your coaches and everyone like let NBC do all of these pieces is crazy, because one thing Nastia told me is that the reason she didn't have any fluff pieces during the Olympics and they had all the attention on Sean was because Valeri got in a fight with David Michaels and NBC because they called Nastia old in 2007, and like that upset him so much that he went so ballistic and like
It's probably smart.
scary Russian on them that they just ignored her completely.
It was probably smart because I think it's always hard to be in the limelight. But my favorite part is always looking back at these stories. So I'm glad I have them, even though they probably ruined a lot of, It's like, it's what makes you like people is knowing their story, but you have to be mentally strong for that stuff. And I just wasn't that type of person, I mean, the only person that I know that has successfully really done it is Simone Biles, is to be in the limelight for that long and then to produce is crazy. It's one of the reasons why world champions the year before the Olympics, don't win the Olympics. It's just a lot of pressure.
Did you feel it when you went home? Did it feel like, because sometimes with young athletes, it becomes their whole family. It's even though you're the focus, when you go home, you feel that excitement from your parents. Did you feel a lot of that? You talk about your mom going on the internet. Did you sense that at competitions too?
It was pretty great at home. Like I didn't know how much my mom was on the internet anyway. So I was just like a normal person when I went home. I was more just sad that I wasn't home enough because I liked being with my family because it was really low key. My brother played baseball. I would go outside and hang out with my brother all day and we'd go climb in the mountains and you know what I mean? It was just like a regular childhood and a great one. And then I would have to go to gym and it would ruin everything because, it's like you gotta go work out 7 hours. And the benefits of it were just, like these fun being famous, I guess,
Did you like doing gymnastics actually at the end and competing and all stuff like that?
I mean, at the end, no, I didn't like it when I was at Valeri's. I was just waiting for it to be over with that last year. But I love gymnastics.
I guess like through 99, were you still like enjoying the actual act of doing it? Because when you do gymnastics yourself, like when you were with Rybacki, you exuded like energy.
Right. Yes. No, the actual act of doing it, like doing floor and tumbling and beam. I love doing beam. Like in practice, I love just doing beam. It's just like, I love gymnastics, the sport, the skills, all of that. The work, I mean, I don't know who likes the work. Lots of people like it, but I didn't like it that much. It was too many hours. It made me feel alone and not connected with my family.
Do you think the hours are unnecessary? Because sometimes we hear that Simone will train for like 4 hours and they condense
she's
it.
like a freak of nature. I mean, she can do 1 hour a week. And
you look a little freakish too. Like
I couldn't do that. No, I mean, you asked Beth and Steve. I worked really hard. I mean, yes, I had some talent in there, but I had to work my ass off. And I definitely had to have things go really well in practice for me to compete really well. So if I was the type, if I had a day off, the next day I didn't do well. So lots of athletes can do that and take some time off and do better, but I was not that person. I wasn't the person that was like, once you do a cartwheel, you can always do one.
Okay, why did Valeri take out the whip to double pike? Because it was always so solid for you.
I don't know why he changed the other tumbling passes.
Russians like to change things just to like have control over it.
Well, I think he had a little bit of ego of wanting to show that he was a good tumbling coach too. And I really think he was amazing on bars, but for me, compared to Beth and Steve, as far as tumbling and vault, I think we just connected and I felt like everything else went downhill when I went to Woga.
So how much is when you're tumbling and when you're doing vault, how much of your success is based on your run? Because you are really straight up and down, like you're saying, compared to like Shannon Miller or someone when they would tumble.
I don't know. I mean, I think the run is super important. So I think it's a big key.
Like, walk us through why you're so good at vault here. Like, what are you doing? Okay.
I think it was just the no holds bar of like where I think people hold back. That's
Yeah,
all.
you go right in, girl.
Yeah, you got to go hard. And some people don't like running at a stationary object. I liked hitting hard. I liked running hard. As long as your steps are good, then you go full force. And
Your abs to do that vault have to be ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
That forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved vault, and I wasn't afraid of it. I think it's just a no fear thing. I didn't have fear on that or beam. You could have told me to go for anything, and I wasn't scared. It didn't bother me at all.
So how you say that, like, you have all this worry that you would have like a fear elsewhere, but if you think about it logically, Sanglan got paralyzed, I don't know how many minutes before this is
During
happening.
warm up, right before I warmed
Like
up.
in touch, yeah.
Touch warm up.
So like, if anything, you should be like wiping out here and you have no fear. So I feel like it's just a bars thing. Like, you
Yes.
just
Or
aren't-
just a
Just
specific
bars.
element thing. Not
Yeah,
even
or that
bars,
too.
but-
I mean, I think bars in general, I would just always, like I said, I always felt I was gonna slip off. Like I couldn't do a clear hip, which is like a level 6 thing, you know. But yeah, no, I never connected somebody falling to me falling. You know what I mean? Because I was confident in myself. I actually, sadly, would do better if somebody fell in front of me, because then I feel like it took pressure off of me, especially like team events. Like don't hit like 5 people in front of me and then make me go, because I'm gonna fall. You know what I mean? Like I need everyone to crash, and then like here comes Vanessa, she can save the day. You know, that was my favorite position to be. That's why I always feel like if I started on bars and I fell, I could do good after that and climb my way up, because nobody expects me to come back. There's no pressure. It's when I start off good and then everyone goes, oh, she's got it. You know, she's got it. She's going to win. And like, oh, don't say that. I'm not going to.
How about if you hit bars first? I mean,
Huh?
how about if you were to hit bars in the first event, would that just be
I think I wouldn't do as good on the other events. I'd still do good, but I don't think I would have hit because I wouldn't be angry and, you know, blah, blah.
It's almost like you would use that as a way to be like, okay, the pressure's off. Now I'm going to use it. Versus,
yes, I wasn't good under pressure. And I think, again, that's some of the thing that Steve saw and just probably was like, this isn't what it is. But I mean, definitely you should have taken the skill out. But I was not, tell me it's super important, I'm not going to do good. You know, tell me nobody expects anything of me, then watch out, because I'll show you that, you know, I'm somebody or whatever.
So where does the Goodwill Games rank among like your favorite meets and memories?
Oh, my top. I think that's number 1 or number 2. Number 1 is probably 97 Nationals, and this is number 2, because this was at the peak of like just super excited about being with my idols like Simona Amanar, and I only had to do vault and floor, so you know, it was just the height of everybody was excited about me.
So excitement, it sounds, is different than pressure. Like this was more everybody, you could sense.
Yeah, because I was new here. I was still like kind of new. It was like not. I don't think everybody was saying Vanessa's gonna win all of this. Nobody really knew who I was. It was like still kind of young in the international world and stuff. So I still felt like there's some excitement about me, but like kind of wondering how is she gonna do? Not like, okay, Vanessa's supposed to win everything, you know.
So I've always wondered, okay, there was randomly for some reason there wasn't a World Championships in '98. And if there were an event, do you think that would have helped you? Like say that you went in and you were like 6th and you made finals on a couple of events but didn't win, but you had like a solid performance. Do you think that would have helped maybe like temper some of the crazy, that it wasn't like she's going to get to go to the Worlds and the Olympics right at the end of her career and like build it up to some...
For sure. Sure. I mean, missed out on the 97 and 98 Worlds. So
yeah,
it was just, everything was just brand new and I didn't know what the heck was going on. Yeah, it would have just given me more experience. You know, I usually always did good in international competitions too, not all the time. And always in Australia, I'd always do good. I think I had like a couple meets in Australia and I did really well there and stuff. So I always thought it was a sign. Okay, you guys, I have to tell you something. My battery for my computer is at 5%. So can I run and go get my battery? It's like downstairs. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
It was after Dave, it was after 99 Nationals that she hurt her ankle, right?
So she hurt her ankle in France but I think it like got bad again. You'll have to ask her. But I think she told me that because she wasn't in the same shape after nationals, it got worse.
And that's when Valerie told her to stop eating dinner.
That was so she was with Arthur Akopian,
Akopian. Okay.
and who Maroney and Maddie Larson sued between them through Worlds, and then she went from Worlds to Valerie.
Okay. After the surgery.
Yes. Oh my God. And Arthur Akopian was with Carrie Strug when she almost broke her neck on bars.
But
So
she fell off bars.
He really has a great
then,
resume.
okay.
I did it.
Okay.
We were just, can you take us through, Vanessa, 1999, hurting your ankle, and then getting surgery, and then who was the coach who told you not to eat dinner?
Oh, that was Bella.
Okay.
That was when we were at Pacific Alliance. So I think we were at Pacific Alliance, and we, after I had surgery, I didn't do good with losing weight. I mean, I think I gained like 5 pounds, but I just I never had to lose weight before. So I was always doing it the wrong way, trying not to eat and stuff. And then you would like binge and eat more. And then so I couldn't get down. But anyways, me and my friend Marie Fjordholm was at Pacific Alliance, and he made some comment, I think, to somebody, or just in general, that like we were overweight. I don't know, or we were in lineup and he said something. And so me and Marie Fjordholm, I think he did say something like, you guys should not eat dinner. And then we had the wise idea to go up to him and say, we're going to skip dinner and stuff. And then he yelled at us and said, how do I know you're not going to go and eat chocolate and stuff in your room or something? And we're like, oh, okay. I guess that didn't really work out the way we planned it to. So, yeah.
Is he just angry all the time in a meet? Like, is he just like an angry person? Or
I think, I think in general, he's really, how you see him on TV, like a cuddly teddy bear and super motivating. He is that person. Unless he's upset with you, you know what I mean? Like, so he is super motivating. I mean, like, I don't think you really want anybody but Bella at competition when he believes in you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best part of him. He's like super motivating. But if you are overweight, or I shouldn't even say overweight, if he thinks you're overweight, or if you fell and you don't get up right away, or that's when he turns into this abusive person, and so he has those parts of him that I think are real. I don't think they're fake. I think he does love gymnastics. I think he does love his gymnasts in his own way, but he has this side of him that is abusive. And I think also from where he comes from, doesn't think that is wrong. He doesn't think that telling a woman to lose weight or that she looks fat is wrong. He thinks that it's part of the sport and that you need to be thin to do well, so I think that's the disconnect sometimes with a lot of athletes that come from other countries, really. I've had, when I was on tour, Svetlana Korkina, she would walk around eating bacon bits in a cup. And we thought that was hilarious. And we literally would hear her in the bathroom throwing up. And she would come out of there and we'd be like, are you okay? What's going on? And she said, oh, it's okay. That's what I do to lose weight. I just throw up. Like, it's a natural thing. That's what we do. It was like, wow, okay. We're like, that's not good for you. You're not supposed to do that. And she's like, like, go get out of here and stuff.
What was the sanity level of Svetlana Horkina on tour?
She's hilarious, actually. I mean, I didn't get to know her that much. She was always off kind of like partying and stuff. But she was a really nice person, actually, and caring and laughing all the time. But that was on tour, you know what I mean? Nobody was having a bad time on tour. So, but I liked her a lot. I really did.
I remember
there's a lot of stories about her.
We need some good Svetlana stories.
Yeah.
She just, I'd say her and Bogan Sky were both just different women. They just had a good time. They're all about having a good time, which was great. I think they're great role models for me because I never had a good time. So I was always like, stay in your rooms and don't go out,
Get in trouble.
Yeah. So.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell. Back
Yeah,
in
this
the
is
Rosie
when
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell became obsessed with her.
Oh.
And she went on.
Oh, I didn't even know this.
I didn't know that she was obsessed with
You
her.
probably didn't watch the 2000 Olympics, I'm guessing, Vanessa. Unless,
I have watched parts of it later on, but like when it was happening, I did not watch any of it.
Where
what
were
did
you
you
when?
do during the 2000
Yeah.
Olympics?
What?
What did you do
What
when
did
the
you do
Olympics
during
were
the
going on?
Oh, I ate and was depressed and slept all day on my couch. That's pretty much it. I told my parents to leave me alone. Just leave me alone and I'll get out of it. And like, I think every once in a while I would turn on the TV and then I would just turn it off. If I would try to watch it and then I just couldn't. I would see like scenes of like Jamie and Elise Ray together or something. I was like, oh, I can't watch this. Like, it was just depressing because I wanted to be there with them. They were my friends. And it was just like, you know, and then you see those stories, which are always like so emotional and you're just like, oh, so I couldn't watch it until later. I didn't think I really fully watched the whole thing. Yeah.
So the vault was the wrong height. It was a big.
Yes.
vault.
You know, sometimes I go, I might have killed myself on that vault.
Yeah.
What if I was going full force and it was like, you know, what, half an inch lower than it's supposed to be? That's dangerous, man. That was a mess.
Bella was allegedly an asshole during the
Who?
Olympics. I mean,
Who
I
was?
guess,
Bella.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, of course. I mean, you know, the funny part is he did some strange stuff. Like, love Tasha Schweigert. Just gonna put that out there. Love her. But it was weird that he had her replace Jamie for bars, and there's just some weird stuff that he did. Tracy Talavera called me one time and said, you know, he kept fighting for Tasha to be in there, which was like out of nowhere. And he didn't know, nobody knew why he wanted Tasha. And he said, we'll just have her be an alternate. And then later he snuck her in there during the Olympics. So it was just like weird rumors going around of why he wanted Tasha on there so badly. There's just weird stuff. Oh my God.
Did Kelly or someone call you between the nights saying that they didn't want you on the team or something? Like
Bella called my agent and said, I can't get her on. They don't want her on the night after the first trials.
And did you know that?
Yeah, when did you hear about
Yeah,
that?
my mom told me.
Like to try to fire you up maybe? Or
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I think it was like this strategy of like, I think she also didn't want me to be shocked. If I just thought for sure, because Bella told me at trials, because I wasn't doing good on floor in like workout, and he pulled me aside and said, don't worry, this is why I'm on the selection committee. So if you can't get through it now, we'll fix everything and it'll be fine. Like I'll put you on. So he told me that, making it sound like he was fighting for me. Then he called my agent after the first meet and said they don't want her on. There's nothing I can do. They're really just not wanting her on. And then later I find out Tracy Talavera, who's on the selection committee, was like, from the really early on, before even trials, he did not want me or Jamie. I think he didn't want on me or Jamie on at all, and was fighting like constantly about that. We were just not hard workers or so. I don't know. I really don't know what happened, you guys. It's really weird.
And you won the camp in June, like the last camp you won.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was because he seemed all on board then, and it all of it's not right. Even if he was all on board, I shouldn't be a shoo-in to make it anyway. All of that's incorrect also, you know what I mean? But to tell me that I'm in and say that he was for it and other people weren't when it was really, I believe, the opposite is just weird. I think there's a lot of money stuff involved and just craziness. So
did you feel that? Because what happened between, you had a good nationals, like not your best, but you were coming back like.
Yeah. I was going downhill a little bit from there, I think. I think he was upset because I kept not losing weight. And he kept telling Valeria I need to lose weight, and I wasn't.
So what's Valeri like? Because he seems
Scary.
intense. Like, it seems like Nastia is constantly trying to lose weight for Valeri even now. So, like, what is your...
I think honestly, I think Nastia's also always going to be thin. I mean, look at her mother. She's just that natural body type. She's a bit, I mean, when she was... I don't know how old she was at the time, 9 or something. My God, she was just always thin. And I think she's always trying to gain weight right now. I don't think she's trying to lose weight. She's always talking about working out and trying to because people are always telling her she's too thin. And I think she's always trying to gain weight or gain muscle. But I think she just naturally does it. But with me and Marie Fjordholm, he was he never came up to me and said I was fat, except for like after trials when I didn't make it. He told my agent that I didn't make it because I was fat. But he always just was like, we need to work on this. And he made us weigh 3 times a day, in the morning, afternoon, and night. And he also, I would go with his wife to a regular gym afterwards and work out on a treadmill with like those trash bag pants and go in a sauna and stuff. And they did tell us not to drink too much water. Yeah. I'm sure she thinks that's the right thing to do. I don't know. I mean, I've told this story before, and she did not like it.
You think that you're going to have like a couple extra grapes and it's going to really
how's her weight going to change from breakfast to the middle of like, what did he think you guys were going to do?
I don't know. I think really in reality, because I never had a problem with weight before. I always just kind of,
Were you weight at gliders? Like, was that a?
I was at the end a little bit, and that screwed me up too, because I never even looked at my weight. And then I started like, if I saw that I gained a pound, even though we all know like you gain a pound and lose a pound or whatever, I felt heavier in workout because I knew I was a pound heavier, or thought I was a pound heavier. So, but I still ate normal when I was at gliders. Because Steve was always, he didn't even comment about it. He would just like write it down and like, okay, and then that was it. So it wasn't too big of a deal, but it still messed me up a little bit. But when I went to Valeri's, it was like, we need to lose weight. And so that means everyone's looking at my body. I'm wondering when I put on a leotard the next day, do they think I look skinny or do I look fat? You know? So that's when and I had to weigh. So if I ate a whole bunch in the morning, I was worried about weighing. So I would go throw up so I could write down a good weight. I didn't throw up because I thought I was fat. I just didn't want to get in trouble.
It's survivable.
I had to write. Yeah, exactly. Because when I finished gym, I didn't continue to throw up, and I gained tons of weight, and I didn't have an issue with that. It was just more of like, I don't want to get in trouble because I have to, because then he's going to be like, why did I always felt like I wasn't, or they thought that I wasn't dedicated because I wasn't losing weight, you know? And it was just like, I didn't know how. I didn't know the correct way to do it. I just want to eat, and then I would be hungry later.
Yeah.
And being around Russians is not the way to lose weight. That's just like not.
It seems like they had so many weird, like the running in the pants, rather than let's just take you to a nutritionist, and possibly you needed to eat more than.
I think in reality, I say this a lot, if you have an athlete that works out 7 hours a day and they're gaining weight, there is an issue. Like they're overeating, emotional eating and stuff. You know, you work out so crazy, you're eating a little bit too crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So what I think happened was, if an athlete gains weight because they go through surgery and they stop working out for a while and stuff, don't say anything. They just go back to working out and it'll eventually fall off. But if you focus on the food, they're going to change what they normally eat. And there's going to be this weird, if they're an emotional eater or they're getting psycho about numbers and stuff, that's when you start creating a problem. If I didn't have a problem before, and then I had surgery and I gained weight because I was not working out, it's going to eventually go off and go back to normal. So it just got me all screwed up.
Particularly the personality type of an elite athlete, you're a perfectionist, you're so focused. So when and you want to please. So when somebody tells you that you need to do something, you're going to go all in. But when it comes to weight, it can't, then it becomes a whole emotional, it becomes a complex.
Yes, definitely. And this feeling of eyes on your body is super uncomfortable and making you hate your body because other people are telling you doesn't look okay, you know. And I'm always the type of like, yes, I will lose weight right away, and I will do, you know, and I'm going to do it. And then notice in the middle of the night, I would be like hungry because I didn't eat for a long time or something, or I ate like a cucumber or something. Then I would just be eating like crazy. I remember, and I just started, you know, driving. So I would like secretly after workout drive to like Hallmark. Remember Hallmark? They used to have these like big bags of jelly beans. I would like get that, like eat in the car because I was like, I think I had like low blood sugar from not eating, and I would just be craving sugar. And at like trials, and like this is the time when I had really bad eating disorder during this is trials. Oh no, this is horrible being routine. this is when I was really binging. Like they would have in the hotel rooms, the hospitality room, and they'd have all this junk there. And I would literally in the middle of the night just go up there and eat crap all the time. And
Didn't Shannon Miller tell on you for
Yes!
like eating this?
Yeah, she
Who
saw
did
me
she
cooking.
tell?
She told Bella because she was competing against me. And she told Bella that I was eating crap, which I was, and I think this is another reason why he's just like, oh boy. He's probably hoping here, like maybe we can get it all together. She's gonna pull it together on beam, and I can do the big like hurrah, and then I just
And he saved the day somehow because he was standing there.
right.
Hey,
Well, it didn't
Vanessa,
work
did
this
you
time,
see
Bella.
the Shannon Miller hand washing video?
No.
I think she has more problems than anyone. So like, I think it's fine. Okay.
She's a top-notch perfectionist, I think. But that's
So
why
she
she's
has
such
a
good
video
athlete.
of gold medal hand washing. It made me so nervous to wash my hands because like she looks so skinny. And she like looks so happy as she is
Like, this is scary happy. But I want to say something about your point, Vanessa. I think, too, these coaches, they don't realize when they tell an athlete, like you said, after an injury to lose weight, then the shame that comes and the self-doubt, it's not just about your body and them looking at your body. That's going to bleed into everything that you're doing in terms of your gymnastics. So everything you do, that insecurity is going to come out and it's going to show. It's so much more than your body.
I was talking to a coach not too long ago, and I said, you know what, I get upset with any gym that weighs. I don't care what the reason is for, and he goes, how could you say that? He goes, like, my athletes love me and they never tell me that they have a problem with it. He goes, I weigh them. I tell them because it's scientific that, you're going to get injuries if you get heavy and all that stuff. And I go, yeah, all of that is true. Like, yes, you're going to do better if you're lighter, if you're heavier, overeating. But I said, a lot of it's mental too. I said, if you weigh somebody and they are 90 pounds, but they saw that they gained 2 pounds, and then you weigh another person that's 20 pounds overweight, but they lost 5 pounds, or they think that they look amazing, that athlete that's overweight is going to perform better. A lot of it is mental. You know what I mean? I wasn't overweight in those at Olympic trials, but I felt overweight and I felt like crap, But I also said, to this coach who was a male, I said, you're also not a woman and you're also not a perfectionist. And those athletes will never tell you, I don't want to be weighed. No. They will never tell you they have a problem with being weighed because they are people pleasers. I never told Valeria, oh, I don't want to be weighed. Don't weigh me. This doesn't help me. I would never do that. Jamie might have done that. I would have never, ever done that because I wanted to please him and stuff. So just because your athlete tells you they're okay with it does not mean they're okay. And you also don't understand because you're not a woman in a leotard, where somebody's telling you, he goes, I used to be in weight, what is it called? Not weightlifting, wrestling. And we used to weigh all the time and it wasn't an issue for us and stuff. And we went, it's not the same.
How was his technique involved? Did he try to change things from Steve? Because it did look like you were...
Well, he did a little bit, but what I didn't like, you guys, is they had a short runway at Woga. They didn't have like a full-length runway, and I couldn't run my normal amount of steps, and it pissed me off because I couldn't vault the same as before. So I felt like every time I went to a meet, it was like I hadn't vaulted in a long time because my vaults were so much worse at Woga because they had this short runway, and at least that's what was in my head. But I don't think he was a very good coach on vault and tumbling. Maybe like he helped me with my triple twist a lot more. It's just, every coach has like their strengths and stuff. And I just think Steve was a good vault coach. What?
Did doing the 2.5 and the triple mess you up? Because you had never done the same in the routine before. So having
no, it didn't. I mean, I was really afraid of learning a 2.5, but Valeria was great with twisting, and he told me that if you were going to be a twister, you should know how to do a half, a full, a 1.5, a double full, a 2.5, and a triple. You should know where you are at all. And I believe that. I think that's true. And I went, straight from, I don't even think I knew how to do a full twist anymore after doing triple so much at gliders and stuff. So he helped me on that.
This was good.
Yeah.
This is a good bar routine here.
Yeah, this is really good.
Was this classics or something?
Yeah.
Is this the one? I either made it or I fell. Oh, yeah.
You nailed it, girl. That was good.
What a boring routine, though, you guys. Like, that was just like, I have nothing in it. I mean, and that's what I think I should have done anyway, because it was just like, get through bars, make it as easy as possible, and then do my other stuff. But it's so embarrassing looking back now. I'm like, oh my God, that I just my bars is just so not what my other events were.
That's okay.
It's okay.
So going in at
Oh, my.
Gymnastics here, you don't look as happy as you did other times that you competed. Is that being around Valeri and the pressure? And like, what do you think is, going on?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it was, well, yeah, I think it mostly was when I left Beth and Steve's, I felt a huge shift on the gymnastics community of coaches and media not liking me anymore. It was this weird, like, a lot of the coaches were really good friends with Beth and Steve, so they really did not like me after I left them. They felt like it was a betrayal, and so that was weird. And then I felt I had something to prove, and Beth and Steve were upset and talking to the media that they were upset, and I just didn't feel like how it used to be, where everybody liked Vanessa, and then I left because I felt like everybody wanted me to leave because Steve wasn't changing a thing, and then everybody hated me, and the media was like, same thing. I felt this like not a love for me anymore. It was this like it was just a weird feeling.
It's almost like we love you as long as you do everything we want you to do. And then even when you think you're doing the things that sounds that they want you to do, then suddenly it's like, but no, we wanted you to do something else.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they wanted me to take out that skill and so for Steve to take out the skill, but I don't necessarily know if they wanted me to leave or I don't know. I don't think I should have left. I really don't. But it's hard when you're a kid and you want to be like, come on, you guys, be an adult, and she's just a kid and be nice to her. But like, it's a scary world out there. I mean, it's
piece with Beth and Steve when she was crying on TV about you leaving and like all of that. Like, not a very professional way to respond, like, about an adult, like, first of all.
It's hard to say because in some ways I found it endearing because we're really close. And I thought, and Beth is never one to be, I think, fake. I think she's she's sensitive. She's a lot like me. That's why we got along. She's very sensitive and emotional. And I think she was really hurt by it. And I think she just thought that that's what the media wanted was a real story of like how she felt. I don't think she would have, she's not that type to go like, I got to do the professional thing. She's just, I'm going to be real. And I didn't get that memo. You know what I mean? Like I thought what we were supposed to do was just be like, we still all love each other. And I just needed I tried to do the professional way. Mm-hmm. Who's to say what's the right way to do? I think Beth was being honest. And maybe if we were both being honest, it would have seemed more fair because I would have probably been crying too and saying I'm a mess and I don't know what I want to do and I want to quit, Yeah. But I didn't. I kind of just went I still love them and I just needed to change. I did one of those things. So.
Also, your music, when you hit like the peak of your frame was La Comparsita, right?
Yes.
And you had a double layout punch front. This seems like an intentional jab at you here.
You know what? I've never talked to Jamie about this and I've always wanted to. Yeah, I did feel like it was a jab. I don't know what it was.
It feels like a jab from
and I don't know who it came from. I mean, it probably came from Beth, but I don't know.
What were your thoughts the first time you saw this routine?
You guys, I'll be honest, and I realize this now. When I was an athlete, I never watched anybody else. So I think for a long time, I had no idea that she had this music or that she did it. And it was a lot later. I think it was when I saw a clip from like the Olympics or something, her doing it. I was like, holy crap. And didn't even realize at the moment that the music was the same. And so I realized that later and just was like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It was just like, everybody was angry. It was all emotional. And Jamie finally was able to have their attention, and be the gymnast that she wanted to be, I think, in some ways. And not all the way at this time, because I think she still was just trying to get through it. But definitely in college, she finally got to have that. So I don't know.
So I have a question. We want to get into starting over because Jenny and I were both huge fans. I actually think it was why I transferred college because I was going through a hard time at my university when you were on the show. And Rhonda said something to someone one day, like not even to you, about something about how like, you need to snap yourself out of it and like do what you need to do to like make yourself happy. So I was like, all right, well then I have to transfer. Like it was like,
she is a cool person. I mean, I really connected with her a lot, and I think the biggest thing I got out of it was I didn't realize how angry I was at everybody. And it just kind of was like, you know what? Nobody's going to come up and save me, and no one's going to come up and apologize to me or whatever I wanted out of life. I was just waiting for people to say, I'm sorry I screwed up or whatever, instead of just going like, you know what, I need to get off my ass and fix this myself and kind of take responsibility for what I can change and what I have done wrong. And it made you feel more in control of your life. And it really was. And I think number one, to communicate with people. And that's still my hardest thing to do to this day, but I'm so much better at it because of the show, is to tell them you have a problem or you don't want to do something, stop doing things you don't want to do, or you'll end up somewhere you don't want to be.
There's Bethany, who has amnesia. There was Allison, who had cancer and wanted to help being a woman.
Yes.
And how did you get on the show, Vanessa? That's
oh my gosh. I was living with my boyfriend at the time from the show, and we were in an apartment, and I used to watch, reality shows all the time, like Real World and stuff. And I knew that Bunham and Murray was the whatever production company or whatever. And I saw on my, the ID collar, it said Bunham and Murray. And I was like, what the heck is this? And I was watching Starting Over, the first season at the time too. And I picked it up and they said, we're looking for an athlete. I'm sure I think they called other athletes too. I think they even called Jamie to, be on this show and blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And honestly, I always tell everybody, I thought it would help me. I thought I would say one of my issues is losing weight, and that they would help me be skinny, like the Biggest Loser or something. That didn't work out. But I was super excited about it. And they did an interview with me, and they said they love me. So I just went on it.
You were really good on the show.
Yeah,
thank you.
We watched you every week. What was it like suddenly talking about all of, I'm sure, I don't know, did you go to therapy after you retired from gymnastics, or was this the first time that you were talking about all of
the first time? Because you remember I told my parents to leave me alone and I'll just get out of it on my couch. And I finally just I think I read a Tony Robbins book or something. And I slowly just made little goals to get out of bed and get a job and stuff. And that's all I had done. I hadn't really looked about the past of gymnastics, and I think I just thought I was over it and was just going to move forward. So yes, this was my first time having emotions and being able to tell people what happened, I guess, or at least my side of the story.
So how helpful is Rhonda? Because she made you go on the street and to shock to tell you what to do and care, but it just dramatic. You would do some rough things, Vanessa. Okay.
Yeah, it was hard. Well, it's a reality show, so I knew I was going to have to do some crazy stuff. But I think I knew, even though it was a show, I did feel like her heart was in a good place. She really did care about the people that were there, and she really did want to help. And every time I did something, it did make me kind of reflect and change. Every project or thing I had to do, it made me go, oh, and think differently. So none of it, even though it felt crazy, none of it really felt like it was just a show. It really did feel like it had helped me grow as a person. Just like that, going out on the street, I did not want to do that, but it did make me go, oh, these people don't care at all that I didn't make it. You know what I mean? And even one time she made me go eat at a restaurant by myself. And she asked, have you ever done that before? And I'm like, no, that's crazy people do that. And I had to do that. Of course, it was way worse for me because I had to do it with a camera. People give me. But you guys, I go out to eat all the time by myself, and I love it because I don't care at all. It's she just really made me go why do I care about these things? And I'm still that person that cares what other people think, but so much less than before. And I'm able to read comments. I'll go watch YouTube stuff every once in a while, show my kids stuff of YouTube, and I'm able to read comments about my weight or they didn't like me or whatever. It doesn't bother me, and that used to would bother me all the time. It just I just feel like I've outgrown that, or that this show has helped me so much with that.
How about Iyanla? Because she's had an interesting journey. She had this fight with Oprah. It was an unexpected 2-part episode that was riveting.
Yeah. Iyanla, I have the best connection with. but she was harsher on me. And I think that's what, like, I feel like Rhonda really liked me a lot. And Yanla was more of like, girl, you got to get rid of that boyfriend. And, you know, you're lying. You're keeping all these secrets or whatever. And so she was hard.
Call him. Did she call him Boo Boo all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did. She goes, boo
She wants to like Boo Boo gone. Boo Boo gone. Like,
yeah. But she also was the one person that got up when I needed that hug the first time. And it was like, it was everything that I needed was her to do that. And so I love her too. They were all amazing. Even Dr. Cat,
Stan, I read a book
forgot what
about
his name
the
is,
Michael Jackson case, and he was one of the forensic like psychologists that interviewed all of the potential victims. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He's amazing. He was amazing too. I loved him a lot. So they all had it. Was really. I'm glad that they had 3 people too, because you got different types of therapy with each one. Yeah, it was a great experience.
So I've never been on a reality show. So do they film you 24/7, or do you have like times when you're
Yeah,
filming?
they like were coming in for group.
Yeah, no, they were. It would be like we'd just be sitting around the couch and there's no cameras there, and then all of a sudden, you know, they come in the door because Rhonda's there, and you know what I mean. So like not all the time, majority of the time, because everybody was working on something. But if somebody was working on something outside, they'd be out there. So you'd just be hanging out in the living room or in your room and just doing whatever. So cameras weren't on you all the time.
Do they have a TV in there, or do they not have a TV so you're interesting?
No TV.
So what do you do the whole time when you're in the
Talk
house?
about your
Or-
feelings, Dave Lee.
I ate all the time.
I eat when I'm
ate,
bored. So
journaled. Yeah, no, it was hard to do stuff. It was just kind of boring. But it makes you talk to people, and you know, because you're bored, so you connect with people. And
you talk to any of the women, like our
Do you keep in touch with any of the women? What are they all doing?
I don't. I'm such a horrible friend. I mean, I'm still Facebook friends with Bethany and Allison. I know Bethany had a baby and she got married, and she seems very happy. Every once in a while, I'll say hi. Her memory's great, I guess.
But did she recover it though? Remember, she couldn't remember anything.
I don't think she did recover anything ever.
Wow.
I think she just had to move on and create a new life and stuff. And I mean, you know, she's still with her, knows her all of her family, but she had to relearn everything. So
did you watch the show, and did you watch it with your boyfriend who had a terrible edit? Like,
I did not watch that part, but like,
is that going?
I mean, I've watched it before. Yes, not with my boyfriend. I did not watch it with him because I knew those parts were coming, and his mom was so mad, like because he got all these horrible comments about what an awful person he is and stuff. So it was kind of sad. But I mean, and I stayed with him maybe a few years afterwards too. Yeah, but
others' expectations is her most.
It was tough, I think, for him.
What are my
like, is he?
That we can.
He's married and has a kid now, and you know.
Is he your brother, or is it awkward
for you?
No, I mean, when we started getting together, they kind of stopped being best friends. You know what I mean? Like they're still friends. I'm sure my brother still talks to him sometimes, but they don't they're not super close or anything like that. So it's not awkward at all. I don't see him or anything.
I was gonna say, one of my favorite parts, Rhonda asked you, what do you want? Like, what's gonna make you happy in your life? And you said, I want 2 kids, a dog, a husband, and a house. And then I went on your Instagram and I was like, she did it! Like,
that's crazy. I didn't even realize that. I did do it. It is true. I've always wanted to.
Marianne and Abba before she became stars.
I know, isn't that crazy?
So did she choreograph the dance that you did in Vegas?
No, I think it was the other girl, not her, but like the rock starry type of girl with the short hair. That's with Carrie Ann and Naba. I think she's the one that did, which now is so embarrassing because this routine is horrible. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just like dancing at clubs and stuff. And
What did Carrie Ann teach you? This is, she's very emotional on Dancing with the Stars, and sometimes I feel she could benefit from starting over.
Probably, you're probably right.
She's very aggressive about lift deductions on that show. She's very upset.
She's very serious about her job. You know,
She's the only one who cares about the lift deduction, though. I've never understood why the other judges
ridiculous. Just like they should just base it off of is it enjoyable to watch?
yeah, you like looking at, not the technique.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So where did you perform in Vegas?
I have no idea. It was some hotel, and it was like not even. I will say, I think at the end was like I think they didn't know how to end my story.
Okay.
And so they decided to pick this dance thing because I said I wanted to be a dancer, which is fine. And then they took me to Vegas and this, I don't know what it was for. I don't know what, I wasn't auditioning for anything. It was just like a performance or something.
You had a moment at the end so they could kind of wrap it up.
Yes, yes.
Vanessa's a little tentative.
So what was life like after? And how long after did you start coaching gymnastics? Did you go right into coaching after this, or?
I think I was coaching before this. No, maybe not. Maybe I was just doing camps and stuff. Well, I met Ann Josephson from Jag Gymnastics on this show, talking to her, and she said she would hire me after the show. And then so I did work for her for a few months, but then I started getting fibromyalgia, and I think I got fibromyalgia because of the show. And what I mean is it let out a lot of emotions finally and stuff that I created, pain, and it's kind of like when your body holds everything in, and then all of a sudden, they say people that have fibromyalgia like had a troubled childhood, and then they get like in a car accident or something happens traumatic that makes them kind of release their emotions and the pain. So anyways,
So you okay now? Do you still have a lot of pain?
No, it's all gone, and it kind of went away after I left my boyfriend.
That's the thing about fibromyalgia. My dad's Natasha thought she had it because there's no like test for it. So
yeah, sometimes they think that you're faking it or you're crazy, or so I do think it is a lot. In some ways, it's a mental stress, that creates physical pain, which happens a lot to people in a lot of different ways. You stress, you get a rash, or things like that happen. And this, I think, is from bottled up emotion that was finally let out.
The mind is so strong too.
Yes.
Well, and the problem is when people say it's all in your head, but the pain is real. So yeah, maybe it starts in your head, but what
Correct.
you feel is actual pain. So
You feel actual pain. That is very true.
Were
It's
you
not
in
in
an
your.
accident?
The pain is in your.
yeah.
Were you in an accident before the pain?
Okay, so I did this show, and then right afterwards, my brother was like on some dirt bikes, and he's always the type that wants me to like be with the guys and try it too. And of course, I want to please him, so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I like crashed a little bit on it, like it was scary for me. And I remember my body feeling very tense when it happened, and the second after I crashed, I felt pain in my body, and I thought it was just from the accident, and then the next day it never went away, and it just stayed there.
Well, we want to show one of your best meets, which was the 99 American Cup, where you did a 10-0 vault, and I remember that NBC didn't show it, and you wrote like a diary entry, like shading
Was
them.
upset about it? Yeah, I'm still upset about it. Somebody posted not too long ago a different angle of me doing the front handspring Rudy, and I'd never seen it.
It was good.
It was amazing.
They forgot
And they
the
didn't
R.
show it. It was something with the, the obviously the media, they had to they didn't, they had to like cut it, and so they took off the first event, which was vault.
And what's funny is that every American Cup since then, if someone does a vault, they will re-show it. Ever since you shared that for it.
They should have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
So why didn't you do the vault in France afterwards?
All I remember is that's not me.
No, you come
Okay.
up soon.
All I remember is I couldn't vault the same after I broke my ankle, and I remember I heard it. I thought I heard it in France.
You broke it, yeah, but you didn't do the vault in France. You just did the regular.
I just remember sometimes in practice, and maybe it was before that sometimes I wouldn't do it good, and they like to kind of like pull it, and they did that with a lot of skills, like my tuck brandy on beam. It was like if it wasn't perfect, they kind of like would take it out because they know I would panic or I wouldn't. I kind of got like emotional when things weren't perfect. So maybe the Rudy wasn't perfect, and so they just decided not to do it, and we were gonna work on it a little bit more. And then I hurt my ankle, and after I hurt my ankle, I was not vaulting the same. I wasn't as powerful.
So what actually happened to your ankle? I remember you posted a picture, and they were like,
I chipped it. Like, so I think it was in France, and I did my double layout punch front, and I I did have the flu that day, and so I probably just wasn't doing it as good as normal. And I traveled a lot on my double layout and punched out of bounds for the front tuck, and I could just feel the front of my ankle just chipped the bone and broke like a big chunk off of it, a couple of pieces. And there was some controversy too, because you're supposed to have a certain amount of padding after the border line of the floor, because if you go out of bounds, you still want to have spring in there in case you go out of bounds. And there wasn't. It was kind of still slanted. It came off. There was only a small amount of floor space right after the border, and so I punched on that part. And Steve, I know, was really upset with the people there that it wasn't the correct
And then did you just heal it normally and then you delayed surgery, or what was the...
I didn't know it was broken. So when they carried me off, Larry Nassar was there and he looked at it and said it was a sprain.
Wow.
And so I competed on it like that, and it always hurt. They'd tape it, and it always felt like a knife was kind of like jabbing into my ankle when I would land short or anything. And I just thought I was a big wuss because I thought it was just a sprain. Until later when I left Beth and Steve's and we got not left Beth and Steve's. When I left Beth and I don't know, sometime I got the, I can't speak anymore. Sometimes I forget the timeline of all this stuff, but all I know is I did get an x-ray on it and saw that it was broken, and then it ended up getting surgery on it.
So did you train on it broken every day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And you were just had a sprained ankle and you were being weak, or?
Yes. I remember even on beam, I was having trouble with my series landing on 2 feet. And it was one of those days Beth was making us do 10. This was the only time my dad actually stepped in. We were supposed to do 8 or 10 in a row beam routines. And it was 9:30, almost 10 o'clock at night, because I wasn't finishing and she was making me stay after to finish because I kept jumping off on my series because it hurt my foot. And my dad finally just walked in there and pulled me off of the beam and took me home. And remember, it's sad because I was so mad at my dad at the time because I knew I was going to get in trouble, but I'm thankful for him at that time because he was just couldn't believe that they were making me stay after. No, he thought I had a sprain too, probably, my dad, but it was just, he could tell I was in pain and I was being tortured.
So Larry once gave this weird interview where he was rewriting history, implying that you wrote him letters or something. Did you know Larry Nassar? What was that like?
What? I mean, we knew him because he was our doctor, but I didn't know.
He basically made it sound
I don't know
he
what
helped
he's
you
talking
leave Rybacki or something in this
okay,
interview.
So I do know that when we were, I told my parents I wanted to quit Beth and Steve's, and I was at home, and they were trying to convince me to talk to Bella. USA Gymnastics at the same time was freaking out.
Oh, here we got involved.
Oh. USA Gymnastics was freaking out that I was going to go with that, even though I think it was I decided to quit, and then Bob Collars changed his mind and decided to have Bella do the team thing. So then they were trying to stop me from going with Bella and change my mind. And they had told Larry to call me and tell me that Bella was too hard. And I just remember going I know, I don't want to go with him anyway or something. You know what I mean? It was just it was really confusing. All these adults were talking to me, telling me different stuff, and I don't know what was happening. But I do remember him calling me and talking to me about Bella, and I don't know why, but he was discouraging me from going to Bella's, which I was okay with because I didn't want to go anyway.
You are after Karpenko here on vault.
Okay.
And it sounds like there were no letters and that was all made up.
Yes, that was on the podcast Gymnastics, and he was saying that that there was a letter written by me. I mean, he didn't say my name, but he was inferring that was me, that said that he said something bad about Bella, and that, why am I going to write a letter? Who am I writing a letter to? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Me of all people too, or any athlete, who's going to go and write a letter and say, it's ridiculous. I was shocked when I heard that, when I was like, and I was just listening.
You're on the right side of history there. I think people would say that Larry has a couple of issues.
I think he does.
Telling the truth and integrity and being a human decency.
I guess so, but it was just what was the reasoning for that? What? And then I'm going what if What if my mom wrote that letter? Or what if somebody wrote the letter to scare them because they had said that they were going to have Bella coach me and then they changed my mind and maybe they wanted to get him in trouble? I have no idea what happened. And it freaks me out because then it makes me also go, did this affect them wanting me to be on the team because I sounded like a troublemaker or something? Like, you know what I mean? It makes me just go, oh God, what really happened? Or is he just lying about everything? I don't know.
And what's your take on Acopian? Because I don't know if you knew this, but Maroney and Maddie Larson both wound up suing Arthur and AOGC.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys. So I loved Arthur, but I only had Arthur. Oh, I quit Beth and Steve's. And then right before Worlds, right? 99 Worlds, I had no coach. They had no one to give me. So they gave me Arthur to help train me during Worlds. And he was too easy. He just like didn't make me do anything really, but he was always nice. I always liked him, but he wasn't my real coach. So I have nothing to say about like it. When it surprised me that he was, you know.
Did you just feel lost during the whole 99 Worlds? You didn't really have a coach?
I just wanted to quit. Yes, I felt lost, and it was awkward because because Steve was there and he was depressed, and Jamie was there, and I mean, me and Jamie still got along, and we were talking and stuff, but it was just this weird. And the hardest part I think was that I was not in shape. I was not doing full routines. I was just like, I was not in shape to be doing Worlds. I was just pulling this stuff out of my butt, you know.
And so why weren't you in shape? Were you just too injured or was it?
Well, I stopped training at Beth and Steve's for like a few months before Worlds happened, or, you know, a couple months. And then they sent me Arthur to train at some random gym. And he would come in and he would be like, oh, do a couple of bar routines. That's great. Do this. And then, you know, he took out my Komanichi, I believe. And I didn't do full floor routines when I was there, you know, might have had me do a couple tumbling passes. I wasn't, you know, like you're supposed to be doing like routines and all this stuff to prepare at your peak. And I was just like kind of working around. It was like I was like in summer just kind of working out here and there and stuff. So I was, you know, my endurance was bad. It was bad.
There were a lot of shady adults that were involved in your life.
What was his reasoning for that? Why did he say?
I think Arthur just, well, there's a couple things. I think one, he felt bad for me. I think he really liked me and felt bad for me. And he also, which I think sometimes Valeri felt this way, a lot of pressure to take somebody that was supposed to be this, you know, I just, you know, came off of nationals. I'm Vanessa Atler, and he felt this pressure to like not ruin me or he knew I was emotional. I just left Beth and Steve. So he just was being nice and kind to me, I guess, and just going like, it just wasn't what I was used to too. It was very this like mentality of like, oh yeah, you're going to be fine. Like it kind of like he was training a guy or something. It was very weird. I loved it, but I was not ready. Yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun getting to know you, Vanessa. Do you have a favorite routine of yours you ever did or anything?
A favorite what?
Like routine or moment, if you want to.
Oh, I always liked my shows, like my rock and roll show.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
With one of the rock and roll shows.
I miss, like, why don't they still do those?
I know I feel like there needs to be more gymnastics on TV.
Yeah, but I like the show stuff. They're always fun. Like when we used to win the electric guitar and, you know, just like all that crazy. The Reese's, there was like a Reese's one that they used to do. I mean, all of them were cheesy and corny and horrible, but at the same time, amazing and fun to watch all the time.
And I was fun to do.
Yeah, fun to do. Like, I remember this was when Kim Semeskel was making her comeback too, and
full of excitement.
And I was excited to be there with her. And, I don't know, it was fun.
You such attitude performing.
Yeah.
So do you still like flip like if you're like on a diving board or something? Like
You guys, I'm so out of shape. It's not even funny. Okay, this is what I've been doing quarantining. I'm able to hold a handstand for 30 seconds. I'm trying to get a bridge kick over. You know what I mean? Like I'm so like a mom of 2 kids and
you do yoga or
No, I hate yoga because I can't meditate. I can't like sit still. You know what I mean? I would do like,
And she does a triple
I don't know.
flip.
I'd rather like be dancing or moving or
And
something
she likes
than
it.
Do you like
sitting
Zumba?
still. Huh?
Do you like Zumba?
Yeah, like Zumba. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just trying to do something productive, but
I
yeah,
like
no,
your
I've done
shimmy.
stuff like that.
Jessica.
I don't know, but
Huh?
I think she wants
I
to
said I like
start.
your shimmy.
believe she does.
Good.
Oh, we should show Vanessa the fitness marshal guy.
Oh yes, you need to do fitness, Marshall.
Is Fitness Marshall, he does the videos on YouTube,
Yes.
and he has two girls in the background or something?
Yes.
Yes, I just saw that. Okay, you guys, because my son loves
The
dancing.
music,
I just
old-time
put
rock and
that.
roll.
I found that like 2 weeks ago and was doing like stuff with it. My son was doing with it. And it was so fun. I love this routine.
Jessica.
Fitness marshal was really getting us through quarantine.
Yeah, I should actually start doing it more. I just did it one time, I think. But he's cool. I like him.
So how long would you work on a
Yeah.
routine like this?
Not long. I think Beth made this up in like a week, and we just kind of, because you wouldn't get much notice. You get like a 3 weeks notice, and then she had to make something, call GK to have him make something for me, a leotard or whatever, and it was fun.
Would they
Yeah.
pay well? Like, I know in skating our parents' fees are pretty good. Was it similar in gymnastics?
No, and I don't even remember getting paid on this. Was I professional at this time? I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. But I don't remember getting paid for this. I remember getting paid for the Reese's commercial, so maybe I did get paid for this. I don't think it was a lot. Anything USA Gymnastics run, I don't think we got.
They were taking all the money. Okay.
Oh yeah, you guys, they made so much money off of everybody. It's so sad.
So sad. The way they treated everybody.
Yeah.
When you coach, do you like play on the trampoline to like show kids?
Like it's gotten less over the time. You know, I don't coach anymore, but when I was doing it, I would do a little bit. And I would always do like yearly, especially when I first was coaching. It would be like, okay, in the summer, they would give me a challenge. Like, oh, I had to do like a level 8 floor routine or something. I'd do that. And then like the next year, it'd be like, okay, can you still do a switch leap on the beam? You know, it'd be like less and less every year. And I think like the last time I coached, it was like I was trying to get my standing back tuck on the floor again or something.
Do people ever get really excited to meet you in random places?
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Really.
but like back when you were competing, would people like see you out in public? Or?
Back when I was competing, yeah, no, not much. Only if I would like go into a gymnastics.
Jenny got letters from prison, so
No, I don't know if I did.
Oh, good.
I might have. I don't know. I don't remember. This is hilarious.
You need to start doing the fitness marshal.
Okay, I will.
Opening up.
I will.
Well,
I love
Vanessa,
it.
thank you so much
Yes.
for joining us. Continue to stay healthy and safe.
I will. You
Yes.
too. Thank you guys so much for having
fun,
me.
and we will send.
Come say hi.
Yes, where can
This
we
is my
get your
son.
fitness apparel?
Oh, hi.
You're telling me that my dog is River up?
Yeah, and Uncle Teddy's there.
Oh, he is. Did you open the door?
He just opened.
Okay. All right. Did you get River?
No.
Is she up? Go get her. Sorry. my daughter woke up from her nap.
So where can we get? Do you have a official website for your
Yes, it's
apparel?
www.va-wear.com.
va-wear.com.
Yes,
All right.
va-wear.com. Yeah.
Ready to wear.
All right.
Thank you so much,
All right.
Vanessa. We will check out your stuff.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
And we will be back on Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern.
Bruno
with
Marcotte, and Thursday we have Yuka Sato. So,
Bye,
Excited.
guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Whoa! Let's step it this way.